Hello everyone. So I have here with me Samuel. Samuel has been my friend since year one in the university days, and I think I met him in our early days in the university. And I know Samuel to be a very fervent lover of God. First, the child of God, and then Samuel as intern is someone who is passionate about finance and as intern with KPMG. And I think right now is trying to navigate through helping children, especially in oral development, in getting purpose and every other thing for to live a fulfilled life. So I just want let someone add maybe one or two to what I've said.
Yeah, good morning, Rachel. Thank you
Yeah,
very much for that
you're
impressive
welcome.
introduction. I hope I'm able to live up to the introduction, right? So yeah, but
Definitely.
thank you very much. Like you said, I'm a recent graduate from the Department of Economics, University of Lagos, and also I've been trying to get my career across working with children all around development,
Mhm.
and obviously also as a preacher of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So that's almost basically what I'm doing currently. Right?
All right, so let us just go quickly into our subject of discussion. Okay, so Samuel, can you just share with us how were your university days? How?
Hmm. My university days,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's a very how will I say it, a question that is not too direct, so
Mm.
it's going to take a lot of talking, right? So, but I'll narrow it down very well. Okay, I'll start from the beginning, 100 level. I had issues with my what's it called now accommodation. So
Mm.
along with my friend Christopher, a mutual friend
Mm.
of ours, right? So
Uh-huh.
we had issues with accommodation, going, to school every day, and then we lived in the same area, so we went to school almost every day. Most of our readings were done in the bus, so
Mm.
so
Wow.
we're reading mostly in the bus. Thank God for PDFs and all of those things. So that was mostly the highlight. So I mean, my first semester I couldn't do that much of reading. Even though I think still had the first class
They
GPA,
did well.
but was in well that was how it was. So it was not easy, right? So, but the second semester got better. I already settled in school. I think I
Mm.
had a it's parallel A that semester going into 200 level. Now for what's it called now? For spirituality, where I
Mm.
got to know my friends, right?
Yeah,
So that I think that's more
definitely.
important than
Mm-hmm.
the although your academics is important, but the network you're able to build is also very important. So
Yeah.
I I got to know Ola.
Mm.
Just from Ola, that I got to connect with. Obviously, I know Christopher. We came
Mm-hmm.
from secondary
Secondary
school.
school.
So, but Christopher and I connected with Ola, and then Ola connected with right. He connected with you and
Yes.
with
At fellowship
IJ,
at Department
and
of.
then I think Damilari. So all of us just became a clique, and
Mm-hmm.
just began to work out well that like that. So I mean that's where my friendship started on
Mm.
campus. That was where my friendship started on campus. And, we kept getting better.
Mm.
I think we had a get together immediately after our first
Yes.
uh,
Second semester.
second semester
Yeah.
100 level exam.
Yeah.
I mean, it was able
At my
to
house.
were able to build, bond well together, and so it's been great from there.
Mm.
So that was my, story about my friendship. Going into 200 level, I think
Mm-hmm.
I started saving the fellowship, my faculty fellowship, and same with MFMCF, you know. I also was, active. Maybe I was not an SO, but I was very active in the fellowship, right? So my life as in the university
Mm.
is encapsulated in
Yes.
the classroom,
Mm-hmm.
fellowship,
Mm-hmm.
and my hostel.
Mm.
I don't really enjoy going to the library, right? So I don't really enjoy going to the library. So yeah, I can say that's pretty
Oh,
much
okay.
in short.
So
Yeah.
thank you very much, Samuel.
Yeah.
However, one of the things that we should start from, I think you mentioned something around accommodation. How accommodation was tough because I think I understand how the journey was then, the distance, and then do you think the accommodation was one of the reason why, yeah, if you probably, maybe, do you think you would have done better if you had started staying in school from the first semester?
Yes,
Mm.
I believe so. I
Mm.
believe so. You know, you see, my friend and I were just checking our matriculation pictures, and we
Mm.
saw we didn't know we were laying that time, but now we know that we are laying. So so I looked at it and I was just laughing, Christopher and I. So, but there was no time to rest. There was no time to, like I said, we almost had classes every day, and then I'm just this kind of person. I don't like missing class. So and then having to come, there was a day we got home around 11, and then I left my house again by 5 a.m. the next day, the morning, to make class by I think 8 a.m. The class was 8 a.m. for that time. I think it was microeconomics at that time. So those kind of things, you are not settled. You are not able to read well as you would like to, right? You are not able to, even there's no that much connections you can make on campus, right? If they're having extra curricular activities on campus, you will not be able to stay behind because what, you have to go home. You have to catch one bus, you have to beat the traffic, and then there was the traffic of that time
was crazy,
very crazy. So those are the issues with this. So I believe if I got accommodation, I would be able to maximize my time better.
Okay, so another subject matter I would want to talk about is the power of friendship, of relationship. Let's say relationship, because that is one of your highlights. That's one of the factors that contributed to your success in or during your undergraduate days. And then I just want you to talk briefly on what you think the power of relationship is.
Thank you very much. I mean, the power of relationship cannot be overemphasized. So it says, show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are. The Bible also says that be unequally yoked with what unbelievers. So it just tells us, it says evil communications corrupts good manners. So these are biblical evidences or even scriptures that let us know that our friendship, our companionship with other people says a lot about ourselves. They show me your friend and I'll tell you who you are. So there's something we call what's it called now? Fellowship, the grace of fellowship, right? The grace of fellowship. There's something that the aura around you, the environment that you're able to make around the people, it's going to speak on you. You will see it, right? It's just the way the environment around you is impressionable on you because of what people are saying around you. So the kind of friends you have I used to say before that my friends cannot influence you. I used to say that, but it's not really true. The thing is that if they don't influence you now, it breaks little by little, right? If you have a strong word, you say you have a strong word, and you say no, this thing can't happen to me. The word is going to break little by little, just like we have said now. I said I got to know most of you in fellowship, right? So and they will see that we had a common thing.
Yes.
The love of God, which was why we came together. So you see, and then our coming together further strengthened the love of God.
Yes.
Right? We had, I think our 300 level, we had meetings where we prayed for our exams.
Yes.
We had meetings where we prayed for each other. We had meetings. So those kind of things are very important, for Christians, right? So if you have a fellowship with or friendship with people that do not really believe or hold your beliefs, they don't really hold your faith, they don't really understand the way you think, there will be issues, right? So for you, the example saying that you want to hold prayer meetings, you know very well how important it is for you, but those other people don't know how important those things are. So that's why I see that, those people are not
of the same belief with
you. They don't understand how important. So that's why I see that friendship is very important. In going far. When you want to go far, it says well, go with people. When you want to go fast, you go alone. So that's why friendship is very important.
Okay. So and the main reason why we are holding this should I say chat is because of final year students mainly. You and I can talk about if we start explaining our final year. In fact, many of us maybe we would be able to write so much about final year than even other years, because it was the last year and it was the year that everybody was anticipating.
Oh yes.
There was anticipation on your own side, anticipation on your lecturer side, anticipation on your parents' side, anticipation on every person. Like there are a lot of aunties and uncles that have been waiting. What are you going to graduate with eventually? Some people that have not even asked you since year one want to know.
Yeah.
They want to know maybe they will be contributing to convocation fee or not and all that.
Yeah.
So I just want you share with us how did your final year go? How?
Hmm. Thank you very much. Generally, generally you see that most people want to enjoy their final year. That's the truth. So you want to play more. You want to participate more, right, in extracurricular activities. If it's fellowship, you want to participate more, right?
Yeah.
You want to do things more. So where the problem can be is that probably you're also fighting just at the verge or the brink of getting into first class.
Yeah.
That kind of thing will hamper how much there's going to be a trade-off between what we do here and what we do. So I mean, I've always heard the advice from 100 level that the best time to build a good foundation is
year one,
year two, right? So there are some people, they already know what they will graduate with already in their final year, getting into their before even writing any exam in the 400 level, they already know what they're going to do, because what they know that there's just going to be slight movements in the CGPA, so they already know. But for some people who don't, they know that something can still change, right? Yes. They have to put in all their efforts, right? So for me, there's nothing that could change except if
so the first class or in first class.
So except if I was going to probably push for maybe good DGS, right? So but at that point I was not really interested anymore. So but at that point but the only thing is that for me now I had the ample chance to do other things. So for me, I didn't really take, to be honest, academics was not my priority in my 400 level. It was academics wasn't my priority in my 400 level.
So what were the things on your table at that time?
So I began to sense a very heavy shift on my life, right? So and I had to give in to the call at the time. So I don't want to go too deep into it, but but I was giving to giving to the call at the time. So because I needed to pursue purpose, and see what purpose was having for me. So that was what I was doing at the time, and thankfully my mentor and father was very instrumental in that period. I mean, I think we had about of glory. So but so that it was very instrumental in that period, right? So at that period was very good for us. That was mostly what I did in that period, and I also was very active in fellowship. I was very, very active in fellowship at that time, so I was able to, because obviously I could see that God had something for me, at that point in fellowship. So I put in all of my effort into it. That was mostly what I did. And then I also, I participated in some of the extracurricular activities
in the department.
Not all of them, but I did participate in a few. I did participate in a few of that. So it was really great for me. For example, now the thing is, I did not push down my academics totally, right? So that's where you must have to find. If you know me before, I mean, I took academics as everything and all everything.
Yes.
But this time around, I didn't take it as everything. I saw it as one of those things, right? So because it was one of those things. So, but not like you abandon your academics. So I still had to give out time for my academics. I still had to put schedules in place for my academics to read also. But if you know me before, you know that I almost read every moment. I read almost every moment for 100 levels to 300 levels. So so I was vested in accounting, but it was not like that in my 400 level. My final year, and I actually wanted to play ball, but
but you didn't.
But the stress of the stress of training, the stress of training was much. That was one for me. So I didn't think I was going to be available for all the trainings. That was just the reason why I
Okay.
didn't go, right? And then also our what's it called, FYBB.
Yeah.
I was moderately active. I mean,
Yes. At least unusually
yes,
active. And
but maybe I didn't come for the costume day. I didn't go for
I
the
didn't.
what's it called now? The party night.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, but I didn't attend all of this, but I did a couple of them.
Okay. So thank you very much. So now you mentioned earlier about someone trying to, for those that it is not maybe certain for them yet
Yeah.
what their CGPA would be. What do you think they should be doing right now in that final year? Like they are not there are people that in fact maybe a bit shifting to or a bit either shifting to a higher CGPA or falling depending on their level of preparations and all that. So what do you think they should do? How can they create a balance? How?
To be honest,
Mm.
if you are in that category where you could easily advance to the next class, or you could easily fall back from that class, what I would advise is that, to be honest, you are in school solely for your academics.
Yeah.
And so you see there is a possibility. This is the last chance you have to push. You have to give it your all. I mean, I know of a story. My mentor told me, because he used to speak to us back then when he was staying in the University of Lagos as a lecturer. Told us of a story of a lady that was just at I think 4.3 something or 4.4 thereabout, and needed a 5 point. Well, let's say 5 point. I don't know, but a very good, this thing to get into first class. And she was in a relationship at the time. He advised her to. I'm not advising you. I'm just saying my. So I'm just trying to bring out the point. So he advised her to leave that relationship, and then she left, and she left the relationship, and she made a 4.5 on the dot,
Wow.
So he said her family came to him and were thanking him on the day of their graduation, that kind of thing. So it's worth it, right? It's worth it in the end. If you look at it, it's worth it. So but I mean, if you can,
it's not applicable to everyone.
I'm just trying to underscore the importance of giving it your all, right? So, but I'm not saying that you should leave your relationship, right? So many people know. So I'm not trying to say your relationship could lead to a potential destined marriage, right? So it's also possible if you are led by God. So, but all I have to say is that make sure you are giving it your all this time around. That's the truth. You are here for your academics. Even if you are in a relationship, make sure your partner understands that there is something at stake now. There's something, and then obviously, if it's a partner that wants to stay with you forever,
he's going to support you.
He's going to support you in that kind of thing. So you have to make it clear. I have to achieve this. This is what So that's what I feel. And then for probably you're also into career building. And then you have that target for your academics. You still have to find a way around it, really, because and then the good thing is that for 400 level, don't ever fall into the trap of that exams are going to be easy in 400 level. No, it's not true. I mean, I almost fell into the trap, so it's not true, right? So, but the good thing is that you might have fewer papers to write. So that's the good thing, right? So if you have fewer papers to write, probably you have more time, so you can incorporate career into it, right? For example, for those of I know the popular TIS on campus, right? So I was a member of TI, and and we had meetings almost every day. So, but you're able to incorporate something like that into it because with your final year, you're not really having too much to do. Some people have just 3 exams, 3 papers to write. Some people maybe 4.
Yes.
I did 4 in my own, my final semester. I did 4, and then I could have done 3, but I chose to do 4, right? Wow. So it's very possible. And then if you can just see a way to, the most important thing is to learn how to plan, to schedule things. That's the key right there.
Thank you very much. So, finally, I just want you to, if you are going to see, okay, yourself in 300 level, approaching year 4, or yourself in year four first semester already, approaching second.
University system is not, it's not only about how well you read. That's the truth. University
Yes.
system is not only about how well you read.
Mm.
It's you can read so well and you know you still not get a good
Great.
grade. Now, I'm not saying I didn't get a good grade, but I could have done better. So being more strategic in the sense that knowing what your lecturers want, right? Knowing what your lecturers want. Not running ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
Not knowing what your lecturers want, not running ahead of yourself. I think knowing what your lecturers want is actually the most important.
The most important
So
when you give them what they want, you probably get what you want too.
I'm telling you. So knowing what your lecturers want, I think that's the thing. Very strategic, right? And that then what else would I have done better? I think that's it.
That like it encapsulates every other thing.
Yes.
Being strategic in time planning,
Yes.
time management, what you should do, when you should do.
Now
them.
I remember my project.
Okay.
Me and Dan were under the same supervisor. I'm not going to mention name. Any of our beloved lecturer, doctor. We had so the thing is, that's why I really can't place it, right? So we had our what's it called now? We started our project, I think we started very early, first semester. First semester. But we started very early when even the first to get to the mark. So we did all of that, and then we used our our break. We break 100 every two first semester to second semester of 100. We used that break to complete our chapter 3.
Wow.
That's to tell you that
you were in between. You were ready.
We were even submitting chapter 3 to him in that break.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, we were corrected in chapter 3 7 times.
Yeah. 7 times.
7 times. So by the time, so and then the thing is that we get to his office, sense of it doesn't speak with us.
Wow.
So it doesn't take care of that thing. When you take until we knew that okay, we need to pray for this man. So but it's very serious.
7 times.
The funny thing is just the two of us. The other people that were assigned on that we're not even we were still on first, second, so we were not going through what we were going through. Wow. So nobody could really understand what we were going through. So but when they now got to that stage too, it's now all of us. Together.
So they met
They met us there.
Both of you
and
there.
Even some of us first up there again. So but we overtook them back. But it was really funny and that kind of thing. So but the good thing is that we were not able to communicate with him to know exactly what he wanted. So the day we had a change was the day he finally called us to sit down with him.
Wow.
And say, because he knew that we were coming from a far place. This time around, we had already gone home. So this time he just pitied us and was like, "Come, I know you are coming from a far place. These I want you to. You could have told us these things since now." And then he will know. He doesn't even allow us to talk, right? So you can just explain it this way because So if there's a way you can endear yourself to your or what's it called?
That you can make yourself vulnerable.
Yeah, that you can endear in the sense that make the person close to you. That's so if it's now this is not bribe, right? But you could offer gifts.
Yes,
a few times. That person, the Bible says, gift of a man makes room for him.
Yes.
So when they're talking about that gift, it's not the gift that maybe David had gifts to play.
The skills, not about skills right now.
Gift. Because if you see other the Bible translations, you understand that that's actually the gift that it makes room for you. So when you can, person might want to have a second glance at is maybe not too good behavior towards you. So that kind of thing. I think that's another advice I would give. Be very strategic about it.
Thank you very much, Samuel. This was an awesome chat.